Okay, today we have Venus in Libra in the 7th house, and what I'm going to do is run through this with you so you understand what we have. Prior to this, I've got Venus in Aries right through to Venus in Virgo in the 6th house, so you can go back and look at the previous videos and you'll understand how you're looking at Venus in your chart once I show you these slides. So, next slide. So what we have is, this is about Venus, and Venus has an inner nature and an outer nature. So that's something we need to understand about Venus, that it's something that's inner and it's also outer. And it's the way in which we also hear our own voice and the way in which we listen. As we hear ourselves, our own inner talk, we can then see how we project that out into the world, and then we can see what's reflected back to us. And I add, this is not so much in every situation, like, there are things in life that just happen, but generally the inner voice that we hold and that we've been conditioned into, and that is also part of our chart. Like for myself, I've got Venus in Aries, but in the 5th house, which I'll show you, and you'll understand how that works. So we've got, it's to do with our inner needs and values, and it's also Venus rules Libra and the 7th house. Then the big question we can ask ourselves is, how do I talk to myself? Part of the whole point of deconditioning and getting to a place in our lives where we're becoming whole, which Carl Gustav Jung would have spoken about, this becoming whole is something that we do through introspection and through wisdom and experience, and clearly at different points in our lives as well. And as our chart gets activated, as that's a whole nother thing though, but this is going on to Venus and in Aries, where I have it, I'm showing you here. You'll see that I've got Venus in Aries in the 5th house. There's my Venus. That's the 5th house. It's an intercepted house, but it's at 18 degrees of Aries. So you can see this chart's dated the 23rd of August, and on the outside, if you don't know what astrology is or you've not seen a chart before, the little green symbols on the outside are transits that are currently going on. And the transits, activate our natal planets and vice versa and such like. So next slide, we have that a natal chart represents our potential. It also represents what we have been and where we are at and what we can become. And we do have free will. And knowing this means we get to make choices. So the more we know ourselves and understand the symbolism in our charts, the more we can know ourselves and evolve in ways which we possibly never thought possible. It is important we look at the totality of a chart, and in evolutionary astrology, the baseline used will be Pluto and the node, the north node and the south node. So that's important that, when we're looking at a chart, we're also looking at the polarity point of Pluto as well. So for instance, I've got a 9th house Pluto, but what I'm also going to do is look to the 3rd house, which means as a 9th house Pluto, which I can see the bigger picture, I'm going to look to the 3rd house, the polarity, which means that in order to evolve, I need to ask people questions. And that's what I do with my 9th house Pluto. Going on, this is Venus in Libra here, and we've got the ruler Venus. And here we have a pattern and a need in understanding who we are through all relationships. They embrace the diversity of life, and we find out who we are by knowing who we are not. Libra is known for balance, but is in fact about learning balance. If the Venus in Libra experiences too much interaction, they need to withdraw to keep the balance. There can be extremes here. Time spent immersed in others creates a loss of self, and then being alone helps to create a sense of who they are. They may only value self to the degree that others value them. Others give them meaning. Venus in Libra supports others and values them even when others' reality is not their own. Supporting others' reality in extremes can take away from our own reality. Say that again. Supporting others' realities in extremes can take us away from our own reality and sense of self. There is an ability to be many things to different people, and this can be like a chameleon with others, changing to suit the scenery. They can relate well to the differences in values and beliefs and lifestyles. All is relative, and this means all interactions can be related to, which allows others to be as and who they are. As they are aware of so many possibilities and ways of being in the world, it gives them the ability to imagine freely. This can be applied to how others feel and live, which supports others. They also look to ask themselves in comparison, who am I? In their interaction, they are fair and they are about balance and justice and equality. They are able to be and are good at compromise and good at negotiating with others. So we can see here they believe in treating others as they expect to be treated and are givers to others. They have a need to be needed by others, and giving creates the ability for others to return and acknowledge them. They need to have meaning and giving, and also give others meaning. And they need to ask for what they need and to be specific about it and to not overlook their own needs. Not acknowledging our own needs can cause imbalance in relationships. Needs may have been overlooked in childhood, and this undermines children and affects the identity and the child's unique authority. If we only have needs met when we conform, this creates an imbalance and fear of asking. Others may see Venus in Libra as an extension of themselves and overlook their individuality. The need to be accepted or loved can also cause them to mirror others sexually, again, denying their own values and needs, and this can eventually cause anger or leads to anger. Not all anger is bad, as it can be a positive emotion to get what we want and need when we are being denied or not heard, and puts us in a position to verbalize, these are my needs. So we might think when we get like really frustrated about something or with somebody, then we can voice what we've been trying to voice. A lot of us are held back, and depending on what, our culture and society as well and how we've been brought up, we might not be able to really voice what we need to voice. But so not all anger is bad from that perspective. Like, it will, if we get heated, then we're able to speak up. Also, it's saying these are my needs. Because of the mirror effect, partners may be attracted to those who also withhold. This is about learning balance and balancing the male-female aspect of self with regard to needs. It's important to develop how we relate to others and self and become worldly wise, intimate, respectful, concerned and aware, and relate with warmth. We can balance this with the polarity of Aries, and to hear oneself and what our inner needs are, to be assertive and to express and communicate our own inner reality, the knowing when we are comfortable being sociably active and when we need space, and to hear our own yes and no, and to hear it will create balance. So it's a good thing to do. It's like to go inward and say, is this a yes or is this a no? Instead of just going along with people and things and that we're not, happy with. And next, I love this. This is your ganda, and it's a saying that relates to me to evolutionary astrology in many ways, that mankind is engaged in an internal quest for that something else he hopes will bring him happiness, complete and unending. For those individual souls who have sought and found God, the search is over. He is that something else. So evolutionary astrology, to me, it helps you find who you are, and it helps you to evolve, and it helps, it develops the understanding of what the soul is doing and the soul growth. And next we have Carl Gustav Jung. He passed in 1961. And we've got here, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And that's worth thinking about there. And what you resist not only persists, but it will grow in size. And resistance determines the magnitude of our problems and or confrontations. And then lastly, the source material here is Jeff Wolf Green, Pluto 1, Evolutionary Journey of the Soul, and the Carl Gustav Jung, various quotes, and the quote from Uganda, and the pictures I got from Google. And last but least, if you want a reading with me, you can check me out on my Facebook page, or you can go to or you can email me, basically, that's it. But you can see on my Facebook page, my like page, you'll be able to see a booking situation there, or you can go below the video and check me out there also. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.